Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is Rob with 99 Problems But Fish Ain't One. In today's video, we're going to be talking about carp accessories. This one is going to be more focused towards the beginning carp angler and the kind of accessories you guys need to start successfully fishing for carp. While we are talking about carp accessories, guys, I will also be fishing at the same time, and hopefully with any sort of luck at all, we'll be able to show you guys of putting these carp accessories into action and hopefully hooking up with some fish. Stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, so the first accessory we'll cover today is probably the most important one, and that's the actual hook that you would use. The most popular hook in carp fishing, and I think the one that's most, the best all around, is probably what's called the hair rig. And I have one of these here for you, and we'll show it to you in a little bit more detail. So looking up close here, this is what a hair rig looks like. Again, you can see what it looks like a size 6 hook here. And it has this little extra piece of braid on it there down at the bottom, and that's the actual hair. So why is that probably the most important thing in carp fishing, that hair rig? It's because although carp are large fish, they actually have very small mouths. So I wouldn't recommend using any sort of larger hook, an extra wide gap hook or anything like that to fish for these. Again, they have small mouths, they have sensitive mouths, so you really want to keep a very discreet hook. The hair rig allows for the first thing to enter that carp's mouth is actually the bait, whatever you have tied onto that hair rig. So again, it feels that bait, it sucks it up in further, and then once it does that, it's almost too late for the fish. The hook is already in its mouth. As it tries to either take off or try to spit it, it typically gets caught in that bottom lip, and you got a fish on. So carp accessory number 2, and it ties directly into the use of that hair rig, it is what is called a baiting needle. A baiting needle, this small little device here, it allows you to add the bait of your choice to the bottom of that hair rig. Okay, so you see it has a little hooked end here, and I'll show you exactly how we use this to put the bait on the hair rig. Okay guys, so we now have our bait of choice. In this case, it's a boilie. We have that threaded onto our baiting needle. Again, it just took a little bit of force to do that. So now we'll take our hook with the hair rig, and we're going to take this little fine hook and attach it to the loop in our hair rig. Okay, and when you pull that tight, you'll now be able to notice that you're able to easily thread the bait onto the hair. Okay, and then the completed setup looks something like that. So again, you see now that the hook has absolutely no bait on it, but this little thread or the hair coming off of the hair rig now has this bait firmly attached to it. So when the carp swings by and brings that into its mouth, the first thing it notices is that piece of bait, not the hook. It sucks it up, and before it's too late, that hook is now in the bottom lip and you're ready to fight. Alrighty guys, so the next accessory that you guys will need to successfully start fishing for carp is what's called a method lead. Okay, method leads are particularly used for what's called pack baits, and I would say pack baits are the most versatile bait in terms of you can use it to catch fish anytime year round. There's several different types of these. I'll show you a few of them here in a second. The best place to get these in the United States, most reliably, is probably from a website called bigcarptackle.com. Believe it or not, they also sell them on Wish and dhgate.com. Those are a little bit obviously not as nice of a quality, but if you're in a pinch and you need one for cheap, you could actually hit up those websites as well. So here's a few that I have with me today. Okay, so this is one from Big Carp Tackle. Okay, and the way that it's designed is it has that lead in the back, and it's meant to design to sink like this so that that pack bait stays up on top and can bring the fish in. But you also have ones, this one I believe is from Corda, that doesn't really have a specific one side that stays up. It's more of this triangular type shape, but again, it's personal preference. Each one works fine in my opinion. And of course we also have these guys from wish.com, but they're certainly a lot less durable than the ones from the reliable company. I go through a pair of 6 of these probably in 4 outings of fishing for carp just because they fall apart on me. So I'll show you guys an example of how this method lead works with a pack bait. So I have that right here with me today. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I am fishing today. So this is a combination of Jello, corn, and breadcrumbs. Okay, you can see that hopefully. And essentially you just pack it onto the method lead. And then if you were to feed something like that onto your line, now that's firm and it's not going anywhere, and again should attract the fish in. Next thing we'll talk about here is the rods. You may have heard me talk about in previous videos that it's important to know what your state limit is and the number of rods that you can have in the water at one time. Here in my state of Pennsylvania it is 3, so it's important to get that many rods. And again, because you're going to need to get multiple rods, it's important to not break your budget. If you asked me who's going to outfish who, a guy with a $150 rod or a guy with 3 $50 rods, I'll take the guy with 3 $50 rods any day. So that brings you to my point. Carp gear does not necessarily need to be expensive. Here you guys have my carp rod or primary carp rods for the last 2 years. And I can tell you, compared to any gear I've ever bought, this has caught more pounds of fish than any other gear. And all it is simply an ugly stick catfish rod. It's 7 foot, medium heavy, fast action, and it comes with a reel. Okay, and I think those combinations are only $50 to $60 at Walmart. I've always talked about upgrading my carp gear in terms of my rods, but honestly I haven't felt the need to. There's nothing that rod can't do that I feel like a more expensive rod could, at least where I'm fishing. I typically fish these creeks and these rivers for carp, so I don't necessarily need to bomb cast super far. I would simply just walk up the bank and if there was a spot that I wanted to reach to. You're going to want somewhere to stand your rods after you cast them out, okay, otherwise known as a rod holder. So these are ones that you can build. I found a YouTube video on how to make these. I'll link it in the description. These are perfect. I have been using these for probably 1.5 years now. I've made 3 of them. I haven't had to remake any more. They've taken 20-pound fish, no problem. They stay in the ground. As you get more experienced into carp angling, you may want to buy what's called a rod pod. But again, this is more dedicated to beginners. So getting one of these, creating one of these yourself, would do the trick just fine and allow you to catch plenty of fish. Bonus accessory time, guys. So this one is not necessarily needed to start carp fishing, but it's something that has helped me out a lot, and that is a rig wallet. Not too long ago, we just got done discussing the importance of hair rigs. So obviously when you go out, you want to bring probably several, maybe different sizes. Maybe you want to pre-rig them with baits before you head out, just to save yourself some time. And the rig wallet does a great job of being able to store those hair rigs and those different setups without getting them tangled. If you throw them all into a tackle box, guess what? All your rigs are going to get tied up. They're not going to be easy to access when you need to change out a rig. So again, definitely recommend making the investment in this. So you can see here how this rig wallet works. I have all these different hooks with all these different types of bait directly in them. So one thing you can use and buy is what is called a fish alarm or bite alarm. Okay, this one is a very cheap one from DHgate or wish.com. Again, this video is meant for anglers and to save you a buck, and there's nothing wrong with this bite alarm. So you see the braided line kind of feeds right into the hook there, and then when a fish takes it and pulls that line tight, it goes off letting you know you have a fish on. Now that you guys have learned some of the carp accessories and a few kind of bonus accessories, it's time to put this to the test and let's go catch some fish today. It's a gorgeous day. We need some fish. Something's messing with it. The thing is, I've seen so many turtles around here. I think it's got to be a turtle that's messing with that. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it is a carp. Oh, it is a carp. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's a good one. Oh, man.
What a beast! What a beast! What a beast! Wow! That's a monster! Oh my god, it's a monster! That is a monster! Oh my god! Well guys, I think that is going to conclude this episode. I am physically exhausted after battling that 20-pound carp and landing him and getting him back into the water safely. I also managed to put a little bit of a hole in my hand from the hook when trying to unhook him. But honestly, it was all worth it. I would do the same thing again. I would take 2 or 3 holes in my hand to catch that fish. But anyway, hope you guys learned something. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.